Because what we want to discuss now is deaths in diaspora without community connection. What's happening recently, if you're in the Nigerian diaspora community, people who came like us, they're passing on. May their souls rest in peace. But when they pass on, the children who are mainly British or diaspora, based on where you are based, start looking for the community for many reasons. First of all, to attend the funeral, because in diaspora, most funerals take place in the week. You don't really have friends, you don't have anybody there, and the funeral homes seem to have some prerequisite, like friends, community, and the children, knowing this, go back to the community where their parents are from, ask for support for the burial, attendance, mainly attendance, maybe the way people are buried back home, they know that their father or mother was from Nigeria, as the case is. But the problem is the parents, while they were alive, never joined any community association. They were never part of any meetings. They never formed an association with their friends just to care for themselves. And every week, now in the diaspora, may I say not every week, but month in, month out, there are incidences straight across the board of somebody passing on and the family coming to a community where they were not members of. I want to talk to Reverend Akpanari, who is the president of the Joe Association in Diaspora, which incidentally is also the richest diaspora association. I want to quickly talk to him for 5 minutes, how they are coping with this problem, and just going to run along with the show. So Reverend Akpanari coming up to just quickly tell us how they're coping with deaths in the diaspora community and people are not members. There is the phone. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning.
Reverend, we're live on air. It's RTM Radio. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, not bad. Reverend, I don't know if you've heard us, but we're speaking this morning. I've called you about deaths in the Nigerian diaspora community without connection to the community. And you're a president of an association. Please tell me, have your association had this sort of incidences where members of the community pass on and when they were here, they never attended any of your meetings, they were never members of the community, they seem to say they not send the community. But when they pass on, their family come to you for support. How do you deal with these sort of things?
Yes. It is in fact, many who've experienced many of these sort of things in my community. I'm appealing to everybody who is a Nigerian that is in this country to join his community, because when it comes suddenly into your own family, what had happened, you begin to look around, what am I going to do now? Especially the children that were born here. The father, the parents, if they are not taking their children to the community to make sure that they know their culture, their roots, when it comes to death, they are always often confused. They don't even know how to phone, what to do, how to organize. They don't know. We've experienced it so many times. So I'll tell you a few examples. One of our elders died, and he was a very prominent member of the community. And our constitution says that if a prominent member, we will sort out your burial arrangement. This man died, and we'll make sure that we are giving 100% burial support for him.
Yeah.
We pay the coffin, we pay the car, the ceremony, the church, everything complete from the community purse. Years back, another community elder died. We know him very well. He never registered. When we begged him to, what are we doing there? It's a nonsense thing. The man died. He had 6 children. They get confused. They are isolated. They don't know what to do. Somebody said, go and meet your community. You are a nature man. It's your children. They found their way to our meeting. 6 of them. We were surprised. We don't even know them. We said, so you are children of this particular person? They said, yes, we are children. Our father died. We need help. I said, so we told them point blank, your father was adamant in joining our community meetings, but nevertheless you are here. What we should do now is to find you children, because they are all grown up. The youngest one there was about 30.
Yeah.
And up to 60, the oldest one. I said, we need you to go and bring each of you one pot of gin, to come to this association so that we'll pray for you and we'll go from there. They rushed out, brought these 6 gins. They knelt down, we prayed for them and said, what do you want? Oh, our father died. This is what has happened. So, okay, leave it with us. We commissioned all the members of the community to contribute, levy each other, 50 pounds. Right? Yeah. We raised about 3,000 pounds and gave it to these children. We attended this burial and they were so happy. They never believed that this can happen. The whole burial cost about 4,500. We gave them 3,500 pounds. The remaining 1,000 pounds was so easy for them to deal with.
Yes.
And this was done. Since then, all of them joined the community meeting. So it is very proper that every member in Nigeria that is in this country must join their community meeting, because you never know what can happen to you.
Yeah. And why just before you go, because we're running along, why do you think when they're alive they never bother with joining the community at all?
I think just ignorant and probably very arrogant. The fact they are now British, they are covered by British things. What can the Nigerian community do for them? It's very ignorant. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong. All of them should join. Nothing wrong for anybody that is living here to join his own community. I will tell you another little story from Ghanaian. I was working with some Ghanaian friends, and their father was sick. They are very clever boys. Their father was sick in Ghana, and he wanted to die. They went quickly and joined a Ghanaian club here called Gold Coast, right?
Yeah.
They paid 1,000 pounds to join, 4 of them, and they realized that when their father or their parents died, they will give the burial ceremony 2,000 pounds from the club. After about 2 years, the father died. They went to the club, but our father died. The club gave them 2,000 pounds each because they paid their dues.
Yeah.
And that money was used to bury their father in ease, at ease, without no problem. Yeah. So if they have not joined that association, the club, they would have been in a mess.
Yes.
So it's a vital thing that everybody that is here, you come from the community, you must come from some part of the world that your people are in this diaspora. Join them.
Yes.
Pay your monthly dues. You never know what can happen.
We
had a big Christmas dance last year, and we called for only 100 people. 300 people turned up. And I said to myself, so are you all young people in this country, and you're not joining this association?
You only come for the dance.
You can only come to enjoy this.
Well, Reverend, thank you so much. This is what we're going to be discussing today. So stay with us after we leave. I think we're moving on to our regulars now, and please, we must continue to hammer this message that wherever you are, form an association or join an association. So that your children, not just yourself, even if you don't think anything of it, think about your children. In this place that we're in. Reverend, thank you very much, and thank you for your time. We very much appreciate.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend, for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, you see, I like straight talking. You understand? I'm tired of looking for excuses. You understand? He said, you come from somewhere, yes. You may not bother, but hearing the story of the children, what they do, and the way we live, it's tough. I want to call Esosa now, so we start making the rounds quick.
Hello.
Good morning, Esosa. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not bad. Tico is here.
Good morning, Esosa. Mrs. Sosa, good morning to you. Yes, nice to hear you. I'm great. I'm sweet. I'm wonderful.
That's good.
Good. Good. Now, you have been with us this morning, I take it, and you have heard from Mike speak, you have heard Josephine, and you just heard the pastor on the diaspora community. Let's start from the pastor. Now, people passing on and without any connection to the diaspora community, is this something you're conversant with, and do you agree that join something?
Yes. I think he is conversant because I will say, when I came to the UK long time ago, there were a lot of other Nigerian groups. For example, there were Afebine, there were the Shekiris, there were the Yoruba groups. But I couldn't find any bidding group, Edo group.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I was specifically advised not to go to any bidding group I found because it was quite troublesome.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what people told me. They'll be like, "Oh, you're too young to go there. Oh, it's for old people. And if you go there, it's all problematic. It's all this, that. I was specifically discouraged.
But did you go and did what they say? Was it true?
I did not go because my auntie didn't encourage me to go.
Okay.
And a lot of people I spoke to, they were a lot older than me. My auntie, my uncles that I spoke to did not encourage me to go.
Yeah.
They were like, it's for old people. It's not for your young generation like you. And you will go there, you will not like it. It's always about quarreling. It's always about arguing. It's always about this, that. And I think now it's beginning to be problematic for us, the first generation or second generation. I would say I'm second generation.
Yeah.
Because I have my aunties and my uncles here who were a lot older than me. I am second generation. Right, it's become problematic for us, second generation now in the UK, because a lot of us were not introduced into our community, and our children are in turn not introduced into it. But I am doing everything in my power to be connected to my community, and I'm doing everything in my power for my children to be connected to my community. Yes, unfortunately, a large number of us, second generation like me, are not connected to our community.
Yes. Do we think that as a matter of urgency, what would you recommend? Connect or let me ask you even better. Have you seen
I will recommend to connect.
Yeah.
Because even now, I'm having a conversation with a couple of friends now because one of my friends just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like I said, she's a second generation. Yeah, she just passed away, and her children, just like the Reverend said, her children didn't know what to do. They were panicking, like, we don't know what to do. My mother never discussed anything with us. She's pretty young. She's only 52.
Oh, my God. And she never joined any association either?
No. Because I believe, like me, perhaps, not that I have had this conversation with her. I have not had this conversation with her. I assume that maybe like I was told, she was probably not encouraged to look for her community to be involved in. And she lived in London here all her life before she passed away now. Oh. And she wasn't connected to her community at all. And her children now panic. They didn't know what to do. They have not been to a funeral before, a Nigerian funeral. And now they're hearing stories from their mates that, Nigerian funerals are very tough. They're going to ask you this. And these children are now panicking. Like, what do we do? They don't know what to do. However, the young children have set up a GoFundMe to fundraise for their mom.
Oh, because a GoFundMe that they are sending to the community or just general? Where are they sending?
They're sending it general. They don't know anything about community.
Oh,
they're not sending it to the community. They're just general. They don't know anything about the community. I believe amongst all my friends, I am the only one that knows about the community. They were shocked when I told them that we have a good community in London. They were like, what?
Oh,
I didn't know that. A lot of them did not know.
Well, I'm saying this time I appeal to the community that when the children come, whatever you can give to help them from your heart, if you see the GoFundMe or something, it's the mistake of the parent, yes. But while we're still here, we need to correct our mistake and encourage our children what the community means. That's one part of it. And just before I let you leave, there was an earlier part where Mike Okoye spoke that as part of our Nigerian our Nigerian culture versus our diaspora reality, that the men are sometimes struggling with the fact that the women are earning more. It's something we were never coached for. And Josephine said
it could be true. That depends on what generation you are from. Because in Nigeria, a lot of men have wives who work. A lot of Nigerian, even in Nigeria today, a lot of women earn better money than their husband in Nigeria.
That's today. But
that's today.
Josephine
now,
said,
I don't. In the UK, as far as I'm concerned, and in America, as far as I know, I don't think men struggle with women who are cultured, who earn better money than them. If the woman is still cultured, if money has not become the evil that gives them ego and makes the women not think that they are bigger than the men.
Yeah.
Or when the women start earning money, the women now swap roles and say that they are not the man is not the woman.
Well, like Mike said, he said he was trying to be the man of the house. It looked as if the pay packet would decide who the man of the house is, unless the woman is cultured.
That's exactly what I mean. When you are brought up to say that money defines elders, money defines who you respect, money defines where your value lies.
Yeah.
So when the woman starts earning, then the value changes.
Okay.
Whereas there are homes where the woman earns better, but the value remains the same. The morals remain the same. The man is still the head of the home. The woman is still the wife, and everything works equally. If there are no gender roles in the house. Everybody is just the same. It's when when a home is being structured to have a gender role and have a financial role.
Okay. Now, what about when Mike did mention that most of our cultural values have a huge financial undertone? Not, everything that you learn about our culture is not idea driven. It's just always financial. Respect your elders.
I heard Josephine when she said that. The way I was raised, I was not raised that finance was the main reason behind everything for me. I was raised with high morals and very value. Like whether your husband have money or not, your husband is still your husband. But nowadays, in younger generation in Nigeria now, yes, money drives everything.
Yeah.
Money determines who people respect. Money determines. Nobody asks where people get money from these days in Nigeria. As far as you're rich, you earn respect. As far as you're financially okay, you're flamboyant in everything you do. Yes, that's the way it is in Nigeria now.
Yeah.
There is no longer morals in Nigeria. Nobody respects elders anymore now. If you don't have money, you are not an elder. They push you aside and take a 5-year-old boy who is bloody rich, and they respect that 5-year-old boy.
Yes.
That's the way it is in Nigeria now.
Thank you.
If you go to Nigeria and everybody asks you, who is your husband? When they mean who is your husband, they're not asking you who is really your husband. They mean who is your husband as in this society. How big, how wealthy is your husband in this society? Yeah. That's what they ask.
Yeah, we have a problem, and I'm glad that we're talking about it. And Sosa, I am so appreciative of you and your contribution. And please tell those children to send their GoFundMe. We don't want to be a community that because the parents didn't join the association and we see the children in need, we look the other way. To the parents, whilst you're alive, please, each one of us, try to join a community or form one. There are challenges there, but I think we should do that. I mean, Sosa, do you have anything to add to this before we move on? Tico.
No, I encourage everybody, every Nigerian, every African person to join their community and to introduce their children to their community, because we can't tell what tomorrow holds for us.
That's the truth.
We need to do it as soon as possible. We cannot say we'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it next week. Do it today. Join your community. Introduce your children to your community. And when things happen, they will get the support that they need.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it is proper.
Yeah.
It is proper.
Yeah. Sosa, thank you very much. Thank you. Please be with us on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Sosa.
Have
a nice.
Thanks for having me.
Have a lovely weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Discussion. It's very. Good morning, Musa.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
So far, so good. Everything under control.
Good. Very nice to talk to you. And now, I think last week we tried to get hold of you, but for some reason, 9:26 you were unavailable. We were talking about the Nigerian culture versus diaspora reality. And we talked to Mr. Michael Koye, who is married to a white woman, and he said to us, trying to communicate Nigerian culture to your Western family, you would find out that most of it has a financial undertone. You were stressed to look for the value in them. And when we spoke to Reverend Akpanari on the other side, we spoke of deaths in the Nigerian community in diaspora without community connections, and the children scampering around looking for people, friends of their parents, how to bury their parents in a cultural way, how to do things the right way. And we want to explain why people are not joining communities while they're alive, knowing that their children would need some kind of support if they're not here, amongst other things. So I quickly want to park those two subjects with you, and we're rushing for time this morning. So please hit me with it. What was your take on this?
Last week was wonderful because I was listening on the app radio and I heard everything, and for me it was damn refreshing because those were salient issues that inhibit our growth in the community till tomorrow. First, black-white relationship is super, it's wonderful. It's an eye-opener if you follow it up nicely, and you tend to prosper because three things crept in. First is the love radiating from your in-laws or the other side. Compare that to what we experience back home. It's just the opposite. The financial body, the day you stop giving, the day you start feeling lonely, the day your family will disconnect with you. I've heard people say their family, they are united. It's only so because one person is providing, others are taking. Yeah. It's a cultural thing.
Good.
You can never be free from that burden. I tried it, and my mother said, Baba, that's what they call me at home. Yeah. It's your brother, it's your sister. And it got to a point, I said to myself, hang on, is this a good habit? Because I noticed anytime you don't provide, you become an instant enemy to everybody. And I think it's a parental thing, pushing the weaker against the stronger.
Yeah.
Because I was privileged to grow up with middle upper class people like myself, and I noticed that when it comes to provision, some rely on family, some say their father, mother has got money, they don't need to work, but death occur, they squander what is left, and now they fall back to the strongest in the family. I just think it's not a good thing. People should learn to live within their means and income, but you are not going to get that. Be rest assured, it's not going to change tomorrow because it's deep-rooted into the cultural stuff.
So are you sorry? Just to cut that you were saying. Do you agree with what Mike is saying, that most of our culture, if you come out of it, it's majorly it's financial related?
Yes, and that was what I was just trying to explain, that it is true, taking you back to how it has always been, and that the day you stop giving, the day you stop having that supposed family you are pretending you have. That is true.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it from you, and to all our listeners, the number to call is 07943424425 if you have something to contribute here. Musa, very, very, very thank you to this. Now, we also spoke last week about these deaths in the diaspora without community connections. You were listening to us. Do you think it's the subject we're handling it good, bearing in mind?
We're not handling it good because what is happening to death in Europe or in diaspora is different from what happens to death in Africa. For a start, in Africa, death is investment induced, it's financially induced. If you don't have money, you cannot meet the cultural needs. Back to diaspora is still the same format they're trying to do. Then we are not open and honest enough to allow our sibling or children to interact with our own community because of our personal experience. That means, in a way, when we pass on, because most of us don't believe in life insurance, then the children will struggle to do that burial.
So you mean, if we unpick it, whilst we're here, and I think you have a point there, the reality is most of us are quite ashamed to take our children into the community because of we're worried about what they may find.
No, it's a cultural belief. They've not been able to unbundle the inheritance when it comes to cultural issues. What has happened is that people are still hiding their sibling from the wider community. And it falls back to that belief that, oh, keep it to yourself, oh, don't expose your children, don't do this, don't do that. And I ask the question, if the man in the village is not giving direction to the man in diaspora, there is a problem. And that is what you are saying. And then you move on from there. If you look at the domestic violence issues in diaspora, it's not induced by the man not listening to his wife. It's by a third party from Africa telling the man, don't be a woman rapper, don't listen to your wife, you are the head of the family. But what the man in diaspora is not telling the man in the village is that the woman is the sole breadwinner. So how do you take her money, her efforts, and in return, you don't want to give something?
This is why we're here on this show.
Then you move on back to the issue of debt. Debt will always occur. What I think we Africans should start embracing is that reality. And I give you a very short insight. Most Africans now have mortgage to pay every month.
Yeah.
That mortgage package, there is an opportunity to take out insurance to decrease the amount as they get older. But they don't do it because they believe God will take control. But my own perception of God is that it's personal. It does not go into economics. In my own opinion, I might be wrong. But we should embrace what is good in diaspora. If you take out insurance, it will cover all afterlife, end of life expenditure. But our people, we are not doing this. But the solution is universal platform like your own radio station can start telling our people, please take out insurance. When you pass on, madam will be protected, the children will be protected, then there will be no need to give a cultural shock of go and look for your father's people. Yeah. And if we think along that line, you will see that things will be a lot better. But we are all guilty for not allowing our children to interact with our own friends or people from the same cultural background.
Yes. You know, saying this now, even if let me say there becomes a time where insurance and everything is guaranteed. As we are from this diaspora block that came from Nigeria matured, is it a time to be putting in your will that call the community or don't call the community? I have insurance to take care of everything. Don't call anybody. Or the children themselves feel the cultural need, regardless of what you are saying, to say
the children are selfish. They will always be, because it's a Western approach to development, independence. When they are independent, when they want to celebrate, they might probably want to see mommy, father's people, but you see, the financial burden of becoming part of the community, they might just not be willing to do that. Then you have to be careful in thinking along that line. Instead, we know insurance, everything is there. I think the question is, are we happy to expose our children to the wider community? If the answer is yes, like the Jewish people do very well, the Ghanaians do very well, then at that point, if we start from there, it wouldn't matter what cost we are paying.
Thank you very much, Musa. Stay with us, because I think I'm going to call you back before the end of the show today. I'm going to talk to the Reverend after the break. Listen and then talk to the Benin Union Executive, Mr. Edwin Igwe, and I'll talk to you on the other side of the hour.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Okay. Tico, you heard. I always like when Musa speaks. Yes. Is it that we have, like Mike said, if you're how we are coping with our Nigerian culture in the diaspora? Please say yes. Yeah, you're rocking with Tico. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Osas, earlier we were talking about the need to, people passing on without any community connection, and the children going over to the community where they've passed on, asking for help and how to bury the parents. They don't know anything, What do you think? Is this a time does this resonate with you?
Yeah, it does, because sometimes people tend to disconnect from the community. I think it's important that we form part of that community so that our kids also can carry on, from where we stop.
What is from the outside? What is preventing people from joining their communities or maybe forming one themselves? Esosa just said earlier that she was told by aunties and uncles who came here not to go there, that it's troublesome, it's for old people, it's ususu and all that they do there. What do you think is really stopping people from going to their community?
I think we had this, on a personal level, we had this discussion before. I don't know if you can remember, some years back. Some people tend to stay away from these communities because, like Esusa said, it's true, some of our people can be troublesome, jealous. So people tend to stay away from those kind of toxic relationships. But at the end of the day, you're who you are. You can run away from it. You just have to be careful how you deal with people, but you're still a Nigerian. You're still from Benin City or from Lagos or from Kano. So you can't run away from yourself. So, yeah. But I can understand why some people don't want to be part of that community.
Mm-hmm. But now that we have a bigger purpose, i.e. the children, and I think in most cases that we know about, when I would say a very high number of cases, when a Nigerian in diaspora passes on and is not a member of a community, the children seem to be finding their way back to the community for help with the burial. If you don't think about just yourself, then because there's now an extra generation to think of,
Yeah. I agree with you. Maybe that's where we come in. If we are troublesome, our kids won't be, because they have a different orientation. So that's where we need to introduce them into the community so they can form a community that suits them, that suits the environment they're living in.
Yes. So you say it's good for us, not just for us to join, bring our children so they can form the one that...
Exactly,
yes. Yes.
If ours is toxic, I don't think theirs would be, because they're coming after us.
Yeah. That's a true statement. I think let's agree ours is toxic, but we'll manage it. But I don't think theirs will be.
No. Because if you the whole world view is different. They're growing up in a different system.
Yeah.
So the way they handle things might be different from the way we do things.
And we can guide them with the good
Absolutely.
things we know. Good.
Yes.
Thank you for your contribution. Now let's quickly get into the sports. What do you have for us this week now?